Before we get into today's episode, let me ask you something. Do you know what your current level of English really is? Understanding your level is crucial to tracking your progress and ensuring your hard work is paying off. That's why I've created a quick and easy English level test that you can take right now for free. Find out your level instantly. Just head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or check the link in the show notes. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the British English Podcast. In this bite-sized one, I'm going to be exposing you to another bit of pop culture in the UK that will help you understand more cultural references that Brits might mention. And hopefully, I will be introducing you to something that will provide you with a few laugh-out-loud moments. I'm not declaring that my version will be doing so, but if this thing that I haven't mentioned yet is your cup of tea, then when you search for it and you find it on the internet and you listen to it, I suspect you will be looked at in a rather questionable way if you listen to it in public. I should say it is immature humour. If you don't like this, then congratulations for growing up. But I still really enjoy it and I want to tell you about it. So what is it? Well, I suspect the title of this episode will give that away, although I always make the titles last, so I can't predict that. So let me just say, many moons ago, hang on a second, 201.4 to be precise. Thanks, ChatGPT. Many moons ago, a man got on the box in the UK. In 2007, a man was on the telly in the UK because of his extraordinary talent for putting on a variety of voices and having some fun with the general public. On the telly, he goes by the name of Fonejacker, and his job was to terrorise, torture and, well, just tease the British public through prank calls. If you don't know, a prank call is a practical joke where you use your telephone to connect with a stranger, typically, and you pretend you are somebody else, or you create a fictional situation in order to deceive, confuse, or amuse the recipient. The intent of a prank call is typically to provoke a humorous reaction from the person being called, and it often involves the use of scripted scenarios, accents, or sound effects. Now, I'm aware that these can be harmful, but I'd say on the whole, this prankster that goes by the name of Fonejacker manages to perform quite the balancing act, creating hilarity in a daring way without causing harm or being too offensive, in my opinion. Remember, it's all for comedy, so yeah, it's not to be taken seriously in any way, shape or form. But I do admit he oversteps the mark in terms of vulgar language, and so I will remove or at least reduce that side of it in today's episode. So as they say in the storytelling world, show, don't tell. Show, don't tell. So shut up and show it. Don't just talk about it. And considering I have been talking about it for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I shall attempt to show you what Fonejacker is. And by that, I will be attempting to remake some scenes pretending to be the prank caller, but then using some of the original responses from the general public. Okay, so let's see. We have quite a few characters to choose from. Let's start with this one. Have you ever wondered if you're making real progress in your English learning journey? Knowing your level is the key to recognizing your improvements. I have a fantastic tool for you, a free English level test that gives you an instant result. Take a few minutes now to discover your level and continue your learning journey with confidence. Visit thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or click the link in the show notes to find out your level of English today.
there.
Hello, yes. Could you check something for me to see if it is in stock?
What is it, sir?
It's a large Doved player.
Sorry?
Doved player.
What is that? Sorry.
It's play Dovde.
Please, what?
Dovde.
Duvde.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're...
You know Doved?
No, I don't.
You know, you used to have the Betamax, and then it changed to the verse.
VHS.
Yes.
You want a VHS player?
No, I don't want a verse. I want a Doved.
Okay, I have no idea.
Doved. You want me to spell?
Yes.
Is it D?
Yeah.
V?
Oh, DVD.
Yeah, Dovde.
DVD.
Dovde.
I don't know anything about dude player. Okay, all I know is DVD player.
Dovde, yes.
They start from £60 upwards.
£60 for one Juvk.
Yes.
How much you sell me look at the Tuv?
Which one?
Look at the Tuv.
What is that?
I used to have the plasma Tuv, and now I want to buy the look at the Tuv.
Are you trying to say LCD?
Look at it, yes.
You know, don't say look at it. I don't know what. It's LCD.
Yes, look at it.
No, we have LCD.
Well, what make are you having the look at it?
What make do you want in a look at it?
A Juvk.
Sorry?
A Juvk, look at it.
We have JVC. Is that what you're trying to say?
Juvke.
No, JVC.
Juvke.
Look, JVC.
No,
Don't
Juvke.
have any jerk.
Not jerk. I not say jerk. I say Juvk.
Because, you know, I don't understand. If you're saying JVC, then say JVC.
Juvke.
There's no Juvke. It's JVC. If that's what you want, then let's talk.
You have the Juvke.
No, I don't have Jukata.
What is Jukata?
You know, what am I supposed to tell you?
What is your problem?
I don't have any problem.
Firstly, you tell me you don't sell Duvde. Then you tell me you do sell Duvde, and then you tell me you don't sell Lugative.
I said we don't have jerks.
I don't want a jerk. I want a Juvke.
I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you from the beginning. Okay, I want one Juvke Duvde player, and I want one Juvke Lugative.
I don't know what you're trying to tell me.
Ready for the hood? Is it ready for the hood?
Sorry?
Is it ready for the hood?
It's ready for what?
The hood, you know? Hood. Okay, now I'd like to make it extra clear, despite my assumption that the majority of you listening spotted this, but I didn't make a phone call to this man for the creation of this episode. This man was already bothered by Fonejacker many moons ago. I simply tried to impersonate Fonejacker's character called Mr. Duvde. Because I still encounter comical references around his character. When I was younger, I found this one really, really funny. But now I'm a bit older, I find it a bit more annoying than anything. And I feel for the poor salesman. So just to be clear, as they say, no animals were harmed during the recording of this show. And by animals, we mean electronics salesman, I guess. So the references that you might stumble upon are basically turning any initialism into an acronym, but kind of reading it as if they were all lowercase sounds. So not D, but D. Not V, but V. I'm aware that part of that previous sentence is one that Alan Partridge would be proud of, but there we have it. So the main gag his character focused on was the word DVD player. So that is technically an initialism, meaning all three letters actually stand for something and we pronounce them individually. DVD. I wonder if you can remember or work out what they stand for. Pause the player now if you care to think. But D stands for digital, V stands for versatile, and the last D stands for disc, digital versatile disc, DVD. Whereas Mr. Duvde, who is apparently a fictional Middle Eastern technophobe, would mistakenly abbreviate everyday technology and brand names, pronouncing them exactly as they are written. So instead of DVD, it's Duvde, hence his name, Mr. Duvde. Or Juvka, instead of the well-known Japanese electronics brand JVC. Juvka. The one I like the most is the nurse. Instead of the NHS, that wasn't covered in this conversation because this character, like all of the other characters on Fonejacker, he has done lots and lots of calls and created quite a hilarious archive of prank calls, basically. But yeah, one of them in the recent podcast episode that he has done is talking about the NHS, which is our National Health Service. And it is so ingrained into us to say NHS that it's really funny to look at it in a different light. Nurse. I like it. My friends and I might be a bit biased, but it occasionally happens that we imitate this in the real world because we're immature. So whenever we see something like that, the NHS, we might say, oh, yeah, I went to the nurse the other day. And like, oh, that was so funny because it's like that Fonejacker guy. Yes, we need to get a better hobby. But yeah, you might encounter it. And I'd say you would come across as very culturally aware and hilarious. If a non-native did that with me, I would be wetting my pants. Obviously, you've got to make it clear that you are joking and that you don't think it's called the nurse. So have a glint in your eyes and ooze with sarcasm, maybe. But yeah, Mr. Doovday. All right, let's move on to another one that I think is still immature, but less annoying. I think it's less annoying. Here we go.
Hi, can I help you?
Hello. I don't seem to have any hot water at the moment.
Okay.
And could you send someone down, please? Because it's, you know, I've been trying to take a bath all day.
You've called a merchant. You haven't called a service company.
Oh, right. So you just do the parts, do you?
That's correct, yeah.
And there's no one that could come down and see me?
Unfortunately not.
And do you sell the parts, do you?
We do, yeah.
Do you work a spanner yourself?
Beg pardon?
Do you work a spanner yourself?
No.
Oh, you don't, no. You just stand behind the counter,
That's correct, yeah.
smiling.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I scowl.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fine. Oh, dear. Has it been a long day for you, darling?
Not so far, yeah.
Oh, well, you wouldn't be scowling if you came to mine, that's for sure.
Okay, then.
Especially if you ran me a hot bath. I mean, you might even want to slip under the bubbles with me. Control yourself, man. It's all right. Have you never spoken to a lady before? Listen, why don't you come round with your toolbox?
Beg pardon?
I know it's heavy and hard. Come on, come over. I'll give you my address.
Who am I speaking to, please?
My name is Lady Smithersley Smythe.
Is it really?
Yes.
You go there, my love. Thank you very much for calling.
Okay. You have a great day.
Thank you very much.
A podcast full of all new prank phone calls, like from that bloke in the woolly hat. Amazing! I thought he was dead, like.
Okay, so this one, I don't really think it comes up much in day-to-day conversation, unless, you know, you're wanting to impersonate a slightly predatory, horny lady of a certain age. I think the cultural thing here is the endless innuendos she provides. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. British English is full of innuendos, euphemisms, and double entendres. I'm not suggesting that other cultures don't use this form of comedy, and Americans do this as well. But I'd say in comparison, and also thinking about my Aussie friends who are, you know, braver at saying what they mean, Brits, we hide behind hidden or double meanings a lot. We're indirect and we find it extra funny to be able to talk about these taboo things that are much more taboo, I'd say, in British English, because the culture is, I'd say, more prudish than the cousins across the pond or certainly down under. So yeah, this one was more of a test for me to see if I could put on an old lady voice and for it to serve as a reminder that we like double meanings. All right, let's do one more for the sake of it. But before I do, I just want to remind you the reason why I'm doing these random clips, because I played it to my partner and she was like, why are you subjecting your audience to this? And I think the reason that I'm doing this is, yes, okay, I find it fun trying to impersonate them. But the initial idea came about from the fact that Fonejacker is a given cultural reference in my demographic. So I want you to become more aware of things like this. If you find this humour funny, then you've got another source of listening practice. And talking of that, it's really difficult because they're very quick, often quite difficult to understand the accents that he puts on. One of the characters, in fact, has a speech impediment. The letter B comes up everywhere in one of the characters that he plays. So again, it's advanced listening practice, kind of advanced, or just like a challenge for anyone who wants to, subject themselves to this kind of test. Culturally significant in some way, loosely speaking, and it's fun for me. So yeah, here we go. Here's the last one of today's episode.
Oh, hello there. I'm calling from the government food and beverage department. Do you have a moment?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yes. Well, as you know, we have left the EU, European Union. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are currently doing a realignment of various rules and regulations regarding food and beverages. Were you aware of this?
I'd say you might be best speaking to the manager, to be honest with you. He's not going to be in until after 4 o'clock.
Well, do you serve beverages yourself?
Yeah, we do.
Right, okay, so perfect, yes. So just to let you know that previously, when we were part of the EU, the EU regulations stipulated that the head on a pint of lager should be no more than 7 millimetres and no less than 4.5 millimetres. Were you aware of this?
No, I wasn't.
Right, okay. So now that we've left the EU, the head on a pint of lager can be anywhere between 14 millimetres and 44 millimetres, okay?
Okay.
And how big was the head on a pint of lager usually at your establishment? Did it fall between the EU stipulations? Because if it did, it no longer needs to. So basically, what I'm saying is you can pour as big a head on a pint of lager as you like, okay?
Okay, that's great.
Which is probably very good for profits. And if they do kick up a fuss, then you can just remind them that we are no longer part of the EU, and because of this, you can have as big of a head on a pint of lager as you want. And if you don't like it, you could get stuffed.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Wonderful. Okay, fantastic. Well, good luck with that. And if you need any more advice, just give me a bell, okay?
That's great. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bertlety Brew, it's the all new Fonejacker podcast.
Bray. Indeed, meaning yay. I'll explain that one in a sec. So that Brexit one was actually a new one, a new character. As I said earlier, Fonejacker was popular from 2007, but hasn't really done much for over a decade, but recently released a brand new podcast with 8 episodes of new content, which included some old and new characters. And I don't really recognize this character as much, so he might be new to the world, meaning people won't really know what you're talking about if you reference him. But his general gag is to phone businesses and tell them about a far-fetched, fictitious rule that no longer applies due to Brexit. But a minute ago, I said, bray, not yay. This is in line with the character called Brian Badondi. Brian is a man, who has a speech impediment, again, fictional comedy character, don't get your panties in a twist, where everything he says ends up starting with the letter B. His general accent, not the speech impediment, but his general accent is similar to that of a late art critic called Brian Sewell. I had to Wikipedia that. I didn't know of that before. But I'd say that this one, along with Mr. Douvday, and Terry Tibbs. Yeah, talk to me. we'll get to that one as well. Are the most remembered among those who watched Fonejacker back in the day. But Charlie, you've not provided us with an example of Brian Badondi. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Because I went a little crazy when preparing this bite-sized episode, and I mimicked not 3, not 4, not 5, but 8 prank calls from Fonejacker. So we've done 3, we've got 5 left. Hooray! So I'll be sharing them with you in future bite-sized episodes, so look forward to that. But of course, you can enjoy the original, the OG, the original gangster, right now. That's another initialism, isn't it? OG, original gangster. Or as Mr. Doveday would say, you can go and listen to the UG, the OG. Just type in Fonejacker, spelt with an F instead of a PH at the beginning of phone, on YouTube or your preferred podcast player, and enjoy. That is all from me today. Thank you for listening to the end of this episode. My name is Barley Baxter, and you've been listening to the British English Podcast. Bye-bye.
Beautiful.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Before you go, make sure you know where you stand in your English learning journey. I've created a free English level test that you can take right now to find out your exact level. It's quick, easy, and gives you instant results. Head to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/testme or check the link in the show notes. Because tracking your progress helps you stay on track. We can't use track twice, guys. No, let's do that again. Yep, we don't have time. Oh. All right, we'll just delete this last sentence then.